Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Lisa Pezik Show. It's Lisa here, and I am here with my lovely husband, Eric, for another episode where I want his expertise. I want his knowledge. I want you to hear from this man who likes to be behind the magical curtain. We call it the magical curtain because people say, I want this and this and this designed and this and this and this to happen. Here's my money, and poof. It just happens. But there's so much strategy and thought and expertise that goes into that. And for many of you, you want to do it yourself, or you want to know the right questions to ask if you're going to hire someone to help you with online stuff, digital stuff, Facebook ads, branding, website. We could talk for hours, but in this episode, we're not going to do that because I know you don't have hours and we don't have hours. But I want to talk about branding because I think the way that you look now is so important in terms of your business, because people are, as you know, deciding whether they want to know, like, and trust you. I know you've heard that before, or just what they feel about you and your brand and the services you offer and what you provide and your customer service and just that brand feel. People are making that judgment and that decision so quick now, like seconds. If they're like, this looks legit, professional, good, not good, high scale, low scale. I don't want to steal your thunder. I'm going to start asking you questions, honey. But I just feel like, man, like there's so many people in the online space now, and anybody can turn on the computer, hit record, build a website, put it up there, that you really have to know who you are and what you want to look like and what feeling and image and emotion that you want to give across to people so that you're attracting the right people. That's why I want to talk about branding, because there's a lot of people doing a lot of bad stuff out there, and it hurts my heart because I see really amazing people just putting up crap, and you know they're not getting business from it, and they really can help people and serve people, and they're just not. It's like going to a job interview completely unprepared. Like they're just not prepared. So let's get into branding 101. Like, if you are just starting out in business, what is the number one thing that you need to start with? Or like, where do you start when you're going branding? I'm brand spanking new. I have no freaking clue what I'm doing. What is like the first question, thought, thing that they should be doing?
It's a great question. If you're starting out from nothing, I think most people need to identify if they are their own brand, or if they're looking to create a company or a corporation.
So are you a solopreneur? Is it your baby, or is it for somebody else?
No.
Okay, explain.
Is your company going to be called Lisa Pezik?
Okay.
Or is your company going to be called Apple? So Lisa Pezik, you are your brand.
Yes.
Apple, you're creating a corporation that has a mission and a vision. That is, we're going to have 300 employees. It's going to be this big office. It's going to have this type of look and this type of facade from the outside.
Okay, so what does that have to do with branding? So let's say, okay, I'm a solopreneur. I'm lisapezik.com. I'm going to be Lisa Pezik.
Okay.
Okay, what? Tell me, explain. Okay, great.
Okay, so you asked me the first thing.
Okay.
That's the first question.
Okay,
that's the simplest question.
Okay, so after I've got that, now what?
Okay, great. So you come to me and you say, it's going to be me.
Okay.
I'm going to be my brand. It's going to be Lisa Pezik. Okay, so now I say, great. Now, the next thing I would say is, do you have anything that I can identify with your brand? Do you have images? Do you have a logo? Do you have colors?
So you have to start looking or like thinking about you have to take the driver's seat on that. Like you have to kind of have ideas of like, I like this soft, airy feel. I like this black and white kind of feel. I like this hard, edgy. Like you have to have an idea of who you are and what you want your brand to look like.
You should. So to simplify that, I would say, think of it as you have an apartment or you have a house or you have a townhouse. You're going to decorate that house. Are you going to go and make it look like a freaking circus? Maybe. Well, what's that brand then? A circus.
The Lisa Pezik Circus.
Perfect. That works.
Yep.
Or do you want a calm, subdued brand, which resonates with?
Yeah, you don't want to be
a
like
therapist,
a
psychologist, right? So you have to identify with your brand and you what kind of look and feel you like.
Gotcha.
And what I do, like what we do, is we will send that type of document over to a client and say, here's like a great resource for you guys. If you're listening to this and you're in this, you're like, how do I even start doing that? What do I do? Go on Pinterest? Yeah, you could. It's actually not a bad option. But what we do is we send out, if you Google Canva 100 color themes, there's a great Canva document that we can actually probably put in this as a download.
No, we're not giving that away. That's good.
I just told you how to get it.
True. Damn it, Eric. Give
literally
away
Google.
No,
literally Google Canva 100 color themes, and you will.
Oh, you can find it that way?
Yeah.
I thought that was like, see, the curtain is not as magical as I thought.
No, how do you think I found it? Anyway, so that's it, but that's exactly why, because clients would be like, but I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know what I am.
If you look at that document, you will see in 30 seconds what we mean, because it's like, oh my God, I love the rainfall theme. That's me. That's my brand. Yeah,
because it'll be like blue, dark blue, light blue, white, and it will say like,
with a picture.
Calm.
With a picture of rainforest that's in that color theme.
Yeah, so it's like you have words and colors that describe you.
Research call is going to be like 3 hours, right?
No.
Okay, so the other thing with that is the logo.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the logo. So what I always tell clients to do is go and research logos you like. And there's a bunch of them out there too. Like I think, I'm trying to remember the name of the one. I think it might have been Wix. There was Wix or another one that gave you good theme basis of a logo. Like, so Apple has an icon with a word mark, they call it. So the apple is the icon, and then the word mark is underneath it.
Okay.
That's one type of logo. You could just want an icon that doesn't say anything beside it.
Yeah.
You could want a word mark with no icon, where it's just a nice font.
Yeah.
Then you get into the next level of thinking behind your brand, where you say, is there any type of symbol or icon that you resonate with?
Yeah, like I love my key.
So Lisa's a key, right? So that's her brand. That's what we came up with, because we thought of like, okay, a key unlocks a door, kind of unlocks, where you want to go. It unlocks opportunities.
Potential.
Yeah. It's, for you, it might be a dragonfly. It might be, I don't know, whatever.
It could be anything.
Think about, like, even if you're like stumped on that, you're like, I don't know what the heck I want. Imagine you had to get a tattoo. What would you get a tattoo of?
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, it's a good starting point.
It's a good starting point. That's all I'm trying to get people.
If you
conversation.
If you came to us with that already in mind, you'd be already 10 miles ahead of everyone else.
Okay, number 2.
Okay.
The holy grail of websites.
Oh my God.
How many times? Okay, we don't have 7 hours.
No.
Putting you on the spot. Like, what is the most important thing that there's so many bad websites. I can't even.
The curse of the websites is that people want to not spend money, and they want to do it themselves. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. Please, if you don't have any money, then I don't know, go hire somebody who's okay at it. But don't. No,
I think it's like
hard to do yourself.
True. Or like know where you're budgeting what from. Like go to Fiverr to get a cheap logo, but then put all your money into your website. Maybe not all your money, but put a significant chunk. If you have to choose between like your logo or your website. Because it's interesting, Eric. Tell them about how we were on a call with a potential client, and they were asking Eric about Facebook ads, because you run Facebook ad program, Sales Booster.
Yeah.
And it was something along the lines of like, what is the ROI, or like, how do we know if the ads are working? What are your metrics? And I don't know if you remember what you said, but it was so good when you were like, people, they see your first ad, but then they don't buy, they don't take action. They go and they like Google you. And then like they look at your website, or they look at your or then maybe they don't even do anything then they see your next ad, retarget ad, and then they look at your social media, and they might not even do something then. Like they go to LinkedIn. Like people are poking around and looking. Like explain that thought process, because I think that's really going to nail home like why your stuff can't look like shit. And people don't get that. Like you said, they're like, I can just do it myself and slap something up there. Like quickly walk people through like just that mindset shift when it comes to the website or social media or whatever it is.
Yeah. 2 points behind that. I think the first one is you have to think about your client's journey. So say you're selling, I don't know, $500 socks. So they might see you from an ad on Facebook, and maybe it's funny, maybe they're really colorful socks or something, I don't know, but then they never heard of you before. So they're not going to click on your ad and go to your website. They might, but doubt it. They're probably going to go and they're going to Google whatever your, magicsocks.com. They're going to come to your website. They're like, okay, it's kind of cool, but they're $500. I'm not putting down $500 for a pair of socks. Done. So now they forgot about you. Next thing you know, 2 days later, they're back on Facebook. Up comes another ad, and it's a testimonial from somebody who bought your $500 socks, and they look so cool, so trendy.
Comfy.
They're comfy. They last 10 times longer than the crap you buy at Costco, whatever it is.
Gotcha.
Now you're starting to get into the second level of that person's mentality and that person's psychology behind why they buy. Now they're going to be like, that's still a lot of damn money.
Okay.
Now they go back to your website though. Now they're thinking, can I afford these $500 socks?
Do I need these things?
What's the return policy on these $500 socks? Is this valid? Do they have customer reviews? What are the customer reviews like? Oh, now I'm going to bounce over to Google because they have 385 Google reviews. I'm going to check that out. Oh, look, I'm back on Facebook. I'm going to check out their reviews on Facebook now. Oh my God, look at all these people who are talking about these socks. Oh, they just launched these socks that happen to be golf socks. I've been looking for golf socks. I'm going to buy them now. That is called omnipresence. Your brand now has to have that. That's what people have grown to expect
in the online space
from brands that they trust, because you no longer can have a retail store that mimics that feel. That's called a brand. When you walk into an Apple store, I don't know if you guys have walked in an Apple store, you feel it. You want to buy something in there. You're just like, I don't know what that freaking thing is, but it looks cool and I want it. And it's $1,500.
I don't, but you do.
Well, Apple, but that's Apple.
But because you like the Apple brand.
Let's flip it to female.
Yes.
So go into a Gucci store. Same thing. Okay, shoe store, high-end. So Michael Kors.
Yeah,
right?
You take me in like Jimmy Choo.
Okay, Jimmy Choo.
It's a bad business.
Exactly, but why? Because they position their brand. You know, like, and trust them before you even walk in that store.
And there's so much media, like omnipresence. Yeah. But so then it goes back to it starts with your website, or not necessarily?
I think your website is one of the top 5, top 3.
So don't cheap out on it.
So don't cheap out on it. And here's my rationale behind it. And it goes back to, if you're going to start a business. If you're going to start a business, the first thing in business is budgeting.
Yeah, people miss that part.
It's budgeting.
Marketing budget. Build budget.
Marketing, brand, advertising, budget.
Build budget. I call it like the build budget.
Because that's a lot of times where people get stuck and they go, well, I don't have money. Then you shouldn't be starting a business. Or you have to look at making money.
Yeah, I was going to say that's maybe a little, but I think you're right, like, to be blunt.
No, but I'm saying
I know
no
what you're
money.
saying. Like,
if you have $500, that's money. You have money. I'm not saying like $50,000.
Yeah, you got to save. Like, coming from the person who like worked the 9 to 5 that funded masterminds, and it's like I was always saving. And even when I hated the 9 to 5, it was like that was paying for me to build our brand and build the website and build the funnels and build the courses and build the mastermind. So it's like people say, well, I have no money and I want to start a business. Well, then you have to start saving, so that when it comes time to putting your business out there in a way that makes sense, you're like, yeah, I have some money to put towards being able to do that. Like, I think that's like a big nail on the chalkboard for me, is when, you know, we do a lot of strategy calls, and we probably have to do a better job of like vetting this, but it's like, we get on with people that want the sun, the moon, and the stars, but then they're like, I have no budget. And we're like, well, where would you like us to pull this website out of when you have no money? Like, websites don't, as much as we joke about the magical curtain, there's an exchange of money there to have the most beautiful website and, you know, all of that, right? So it's like, yeah, you need money for sure.
And what I'm trying to get around with to talking about the money thing again is know your budget. If it is $100, then at least do as much homework as you can to make sure that when you find somebody who's willing to work with you for $100, you can arm them and say, this is what I love.
Yeah.
I love the look
this
of
color,
jimmychoo.com.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to obviously get jimmychoo.com, but they will be able to deliver you maybe an awesome Wix template site with those type of colors and your shoe that you made in your garage that you're trying to sell. With you knowing now you're going to sell those shoes
and make profit
and grow.
Then reinvest.
That's my second point, is that if you want to sell something that you're going to make money off of, that's why you're investing into your brand, right?
Yeah, it all comes back full circle.
Totally. Like, we're not talking about not-for-profit here. We're talking about people who are like trying to make, even not-for-profit, you know, that's a different discussion.
We're talking branding.
But I'm saying not-for-profit budget-wise, because they always say they have no money, because they're trying to raise money for something, for a cause, for awareness, whatever that is. But it's still, you still have to be able to spend money.
Things don't come for free. Yeah. 100%. Number 3, last question. Are there any massive don'ts in branding? Like, we always talk about do's and don'ts. We started talking about do's here, where it's like your logo, your colors, your look, your feel, the omnipresence. Those are like all the do's. Is there anything that you're like, good God, I'm going to save these people time, energy, and money? The number one thing, don't do branding. You kind of said don't have no budget. Like, that's one. But is there anything else that you're just like, just don't do it? Don't do it.
Yeah, there's a couple I can think of. One thing that some I haven't seen in a long time, but it's one.
I'm scared because you're smiling and you never smile when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Please. Don't use an image as your logo. I haven't seen it in a long time. You might not even have seen it or known what it was. Like, don't use a picture of a cat as your icon, as your logo.
Google a picture of something and then call that your logo. Like an already, yeah. Okay. That's one. Because this looks so bad.
It's because
it's like when people blow it up on a billboard, or they blow it up on like a flyer, and you're like, why does that look so bad? And you're like, because it's not an actual logo.
It's not a logo. It's not. Yeah.
Don't shortcut that.
The only time it ever might work is if you were an artist and you took a picture of your art and used it as a logo.
I highly doubt people are doing that.
But that's even
so
that. I wouldn't say
the don't is don't try to rip something off a picture of something online and call it yours.
Because I think it's cool. Because it looks. You know, the classic was the raindrop that went and created the ripple. Yeah. That was in the 80s and 90s. That was very common. You would see a square with that image.
Yeah.
Or the 3 rocks stacked on top of each other.
Oh yes.
Yeah. See, now you got it.
So people rip that off.
So people would take that as a picture and say, "This is my logo."
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
That's not a logo.
Is there another one? I feel like there should be another one. Is there another one or no?
Of what?
The big don't.
Big don'ts. Really quick. Let me think. Big don'ts. Big don't. If you don't have natural talent, don't do it.
In terms of
branding.
Yeah.
There's just, like, I'm not saying it. So, like, there's people on both ends of the spectrum. I've seen people that I'm like, my
That's
God,
pretty good.
did you go to college for like 5 years? This is amazing. And then there's other people I'm just like, you did that yourself, right? Yeah.
Or my husband did it. That's like the classic.
Yeah. Or I have a friend who's in grade 10 and they love graphic design. They're really, really good at it. Okay. Maybe they are, but odds are they're probably not. Get
feedback from valuable people.
Yeah.
That's like my big takeaway about that. Cause like, not like your friends and family, cause they're going to be like, oh yeah, that looks great. Cause they don't want to hurt your feelings, but like have those like real true people that you could be like, yo, cousin Joe did this logo for me. What do you think about it? Yeah. You know, like we're those friends that are like, mm-mm. Yeah. No. Mm-mm. Or you know what? Actually, that's great. Like,
yeah, it's not bad.
That's a great starting point. I remember I was talking to a woman who wanted an emergency website up. And she found someone, her budget was $160. And I was like, oh man, I ain't touching a website even close to $160. And it was like a friend of a friend of a friend said they would do it for her. And in my mind, I was like, oh my God, like it's going to be so freaking bad for $160. And she was complaining about it. She was mad about it. And it was actually really nice.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
I'm like, considering for us, someone did that for you. Like, that's like unheard of to me that you can get. But so that's what I'm saying. There are people out there that will do good work for really cheap because they either want the job or they want to help you out, or
they don't have a showcase of portfolio.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to 100%. They're trying to grow their portfolio. So that's not always to say that you need to spend like I'm just saying both ends of the spectrum, right? Like you don't always need to spend $1 bajillion, but when shit is shit, you have to have those people that will tell you like, do not put this out there. Like it just does not showcase who you are. You know, I would rather save the money and put my best foot forward, or go and do things like start with social media to build your runway that way, and then go to your website. Like you don't need a website as the very first thing that you build. You need a website, but not number one.
No, you know what you need first?
Something to sell.
Something to sell, and then sell it.
Yeah.
Now you're in business.
Yeah, you can't use I have no money as an excuse.
Yeah. Like Gary Vee, he says that all the time. Anybody that says, I don't have money, I need to make money, I can't make money. He's like, are you kidding me?
There's so many ways to make money.
You can go on Kijiji, you can go on Craigslist, and you can buy stuff that's like, or you can get the free stuff that people are giving away. And then you can go and post it and sell it.
Oh, Kijiji.
Right? No, seriously, there's great. If you go and you look at the free ads,
people do flip. Like there are people that do that. It's very. Oh yeah, where there's a will, there's a way. Like there's so many ways you can make money now online. That's what I'm saying. Like yeah, it's like I guess it goes back to the way I see it is like there's no excuse to have crappy branding.
Yeah, sorry, that's what Gary Vee used to do. He used to go garage selling with his brother.
Yeah,
that's how they make money. They would make like $1,000.
Wow.
Because he would go to garage sales
resell it.
And he would find the stuff. He would literally go to garage sales, find something, and he would Google it, and he would see what it's worth.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh my God, somebody's selling this for $50 right now online. These guys want $2 for it.
Yeah.
I'll offer them $1. Gone. Got it for $1, put it on for 50.
Yeah, or $100 Sold. Or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Where there's a will, there is a way. So absolutely. There's no, and now with like time, energy, resources, there's no reason why you should have crappy branding.
No.
And if you don't know if it's crappy or not, people like us, or find like trusted people that are going to go, oh, you know?
Yeah.
No. What's your budget? Okay. Let's at least get, I mean, we did that for a client. Yeah. We literally did her email setup and business cards, a logo and business card, and that's it. That's how we started. Yeah. And then from that, she grew. She wanted a landing page. Yeah. Same thing. Like, we don't got to build you a full website. What's your budget? X amount. Cool. This is what we recommend that you get yourself kind of up and started with. So, yeah, there's no excuse.
True.
Cool. All right. If you want our expertise, if you want to know what your branding should look like, what your logo should look like, your colors, your website, if you have stuff that you hate, don't stay with it. that client feeling is so important now. And like Eric talked about, that omnipresence, people are looking at all the stuff you got, and the more good stuff you got going for you, the easier that conversion to a sale is going to be. The easier that other people, speakers, media, TV, podcasts, like other people are going to find you when your stuff just looks good and is putting out a good feel that accurately describes who you are and how you're serving the world. So you can always hop on a free strategy call with us if you're stuck. There's no reason now to stay stuck. We'll help you get unstuck. You go to www.lisapezik.com, and that's where we'll see you. So Eric, thanks for hopping on this podcast.
My pleasure.
Teaching them about brand like you had a choice. Teaching them about branding 101. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Lisa Pezik Show.